This is Ellis Starr with your Key Races and Bets podcast for Saturday, February 1st, 2025. This Key Races and Bets podcast is brought to you by Amwager.com, AMWAGER. Amwager.com is a great legal online wagering website for horse racing, offering some great tools and perks for the bettor. Amwager.com is legal for residents of most states in the U.S. and covers most tracks in North America as well as many around the rest of the world. Check it out at Amwager.com. It's free and easy to sign up. We also have the Key Races and Bets blog, the written version of this podcast at Amwager.com. Click on How to Bet and Ellis Starr's blog to get that. We're going to start this Saturday, February 1st, Key Races and Bets with the Kitten's Joy Stakes. Race 10 at Gulfstream, 4:43 Eastern Time. The top win and exact contenders are Test Score, Charlie's to Blame, and Me Bago, and that's my preference order. Test Score was so highly regarded in a turf sprint after a second place finish in a turf sprint in his debut last July at Saratoga that he was put in the much tougher With Anticipation Stakes the following month, where he finished fifth. Returning to the maiden ranks, he won by a neck with a big finish, and in spite of traffic trouble, then Test Score was put back in the stakes race, the TBA Africa Alliance Stakes on November 1st, which was Breeders' Cup weekend. Not only did Test Score run huge when rallying from 7th and miss by a neck at the finish, that race has turned out to be one of the best key races I can ever recall, a key race being one which proves to be productive. In this case, the winner came back to win a stakes recently. The horse behind Test Score, who was third, did not run. Of the 8 other finishers in the top 11, 4 won their next starts, all stakes races, including Me Bago, who's in this race, that won the Pulpit Stakes in Gulfstream on December 29th. Horses which finished 8th, 9th, and 11th all won their next races, all stakes races, and the 4th, 6th, and 7th finishers ran second in stakes races. Considering how well Test Score ran in that race, how much he's expected to improve now as a 3-year-old, he's the one to beat. Charlie's to Blame ran as well, earning his first win in his first start in a 2-turn race on turf as Test Score did in his, before nearly winning the TAA Alliance Stakes. But Charlie's to Blame has only run one time, as opposed to Test Score's a little more experience. Charlie's to Blame led from start to finish in that race and dominated an 11-horse field by being ridden out. The pace was not that soft, and if not for the fact Test Score had experience in a stakes race, and a very productive one at that, Charlie's to Blame may be the top pick. Me Bago won the Pulpit, as I mentioned earlier, over this course at Gulfstream after finishing 5th in the TAA Africa Alliance Stakes, and he also led from start to finish in the Pulpit and easily drawing off by 5 lengths after setting a fairly fast pace. But Me Bago may not be a need-to-lead type. Actually, he's not, as he rallied to win a turf sprint stakes too before that in October. He won the Dania Beach in between on New Year's Day, which was scheduled for turf but run on the all-weather, also leading start to finish. However, he gets the outside post in a field of 8 and won his previous 2 races from the 2 and 3 posts, so he may have a harder time saving ground and having the same leg kick. Hence, he's the 3rd most probable to win in this race, but no mistake, he can win. In the Kitten's Joy, race 10 at Gulfstream, 4:43 Eastern, Saturday, February 1st. Test Score is a win bet for sure at 9-5 or higher. A great low odds overlay win bet probably. Charlie's to Blame has fair odds for a bet at 5-2, and Me Bago at 3-1. And I wouldn't hesitate betting one of the other two if the odds are right. For the exacta, I want a key Test Score, so we're going to box Test Score and Charlie's to Blame. We're going to box Test Score and Me Bago. Moving on to the Holy Bull Stakes, the Kentucky Derby prep on the card on Saturday, February 1st at Gulfstream. This is race 11 at 5:13 Eastern. The top win and exact contenders here are Burning Glory, Tappan Street, and Ferocious. I'll start with Burning Glory, owing to a very strong pedigree as well as Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott's unique ability to determine when a young horse in his care can successfully make the transition, the leap in class from maiden to stakes during their 3-year-old campaigns. Many fans are already aware of Mott's prowess with these types of horses, but if not, some prime examples are Hofburg, who ran second in the 2018 Florida Derby, Modernist, who won the 2020 Risen Star, and Candyman Rocket, who won the 2021 Sam F. Davis Stakes, all following maiden wins. Overall, Mott has a record of 8 wins in 37 races the past 5 years, with 3-year-olds in dirt route stakes following a maiden win. On the pedigree side, Burning Glory is out of the mare Hale by Tappet, who's a half-sister to $2.7 million winner Close Hatches, and Lockdown, who won almost $500,000, both who had solid 3-year-old campaigns. As to Burning Glory himself, he improved to a career best 93 equibase speed figure, winning in his third career start when last seen in December. And Gaff Leone, who was aboard for the first time, rides back. Considering Burning Glory had improved by 10 equibase speed figure points from his previous start to 93, which is the second best last race figure in the field behind the 95 earned by Ferocious when fifth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Burning Glory should take a nice step forward and into the early list of contenders to the Derby. Tapestry won it first out on December 28th at Gulfstream, but at 7 furlongs. Just the same, there's little doubt he can run as well or better off the experience of a race at this longer distance, as he's a son of Into Mischief out of a distorted Humor mare. That mare, Virginia Key, is a half-sister to Pyrenees, who won $750,000, and Grace Adler, who won $250,000. And her only other foal to race is a multiple winner around 2 turns on turf. The race to Tappan Street has one turned out to be a key race, from which only 3 horses have run back and 2 won their next starts. In that debut, which earned an excellent 91 figure, Tappan Street showed a lot of maturity, relaxing in third for the first half mile before rallying by the front runner and one going away. As such, Tappan Street could be well on his way to making his mark on the Derby Trail. Next, we'll talk about Ferocious, who may be the favorite. He won his debut in easy fashion by nearly 8 lengths last summer, so it was no surprise when he was sent to post as the heavy favorite in the Hopeful Stakes at Saratoga last September. Although second in that race to Chancer McPatrick, Ferocious wasn't really disgraced when he finished fast and missed by a half length, earning a 91 figure, which is competitive with the best figures of the other 2 contenders I've mentioned so far. Ferocious followed that effort up with the same figure when second in the Breeders' Futurity in October. Then he was fairly well regarded by bettors in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He had traffic trouble twice during the race, but showed some excellent late kick, moving up from 10th to 5th in the last eighth of a mile, and earned a career best 95 figure. Now he's probably likely more mature as a 3-year-old, and he has a shot to even run better. However, his trainer's been saying this week that he thinks Ferocious is 75 to 85% ready. So that's another reason why we shouldn't bet him at low odds, even though he can win. In the Holy Bull, race 11 at Gulfstream Park, 5:13 Eastern on Saturday, February 1st. Consider win bets on Burning Glory, Tapestry, and Ferocious at 3-1 to let the public decide. I'm going to bet 1 or 2 of the horses at the highest odds as long as they're 3-1 or more. And for the exact, I'm going to box Burning Glory, Tapestry, and Ferocious. Moving on down the road to another great race, the Forward Gal Stakes. This is race 12 at Gulfstream, 5:45 Eastern on February 1st. Win contenders are Stunner and Rojo Rita, and the contenders for trifecta tickets in third are going to be the Queen's MG, Justin Queso, and Eclatant. Now, this is a Kentucky Oaks prep race. Doesn't get any points, though, because it's a one-turn race, but also important to keep an eye on. Stunner is the speed of the speed here from an outside post. Should have no trouble getting to front in the opening quarter mile. She romped wire-to-wire last September in her second start. Easily beat 8 horses in the similar Tempted Stakes at Aqueduct in November at a mile around 1 turn. Stretched out to 2 turns for the My Dear Girl Stakes on November 30th at Gulfstream. She established an easy lead, got run down right on the wire and lost by a neck, and it was 7 lengths back to the next horse. Now she returns to 1 turn. Stunner should not get beaten in the last yards, and she looks very tough. That being said, if Rojo Rita is all sent to the front, it could compromise Stunner's chances, although I think Stunner is faster in the opening quarter mile, which will put Rojo Rita in a stalking trip. And if Rojo Rita is close enough to Stunner, she could go by late. Rojo Rita's only run once, but it was a spectacular effort where she won by 16 lengths in a field of 7. She's been rested and pointing to this race since, and with improvement in her second career start, she certainly has to be considered a contender. There may be some value in trifecta horses with the Queen's MG, Justin Queso, and Eclatant. Queen's MG posted the 44-1 upset last summer in the Schuylerville at Saratoga, and that proved to be no fluke when winning the Adirondack the following month, but she ended the year on a lesser note with 5th and 3rd place finishes, the latter one well behind Stunner in the Tempted. She does have a stalking style and could get a piece. Similarly, Justin Queso finished second in her debut, was moved up to first, and winner was DQ'd. She ran well and can't be ruled out for a piece as she improves. Eccleton won her first 2 races in June and October rather easily, both around 1 turn, and similar to Stunner, she didn't run well around 2 turns when third in the Goldenrod Stakes at the end of November. She's been training for this race since then and is trained by Brad Cox, also trained Stunner, and Eccleton is likely more mature as a 3-year-old, so could have a say in the outcome. In the Forward Gal Stakes, race 12 at Gulfstream, Saturday, February 1st, 5:45 Eastern. Stunner is a win bet at 3-2 or more. That's a low odds overlay win bet. Stunner stands out, 40% chance to win, 3-2 fair odds. If 3-1 or more, I might consider Rojo Rita for a smaller win bet. For the trifectas, as I said, no exactas in this race. I want to play a trifecta of Stunner over Rojo Rita over the Queen's MG, Justin Queso, and Eccleton. And then I want to play a second trifecta using Stunner and Rojo Rita in first, and then Stunner and Rojo Rita in second, and Burning Glory, Tappan Street, and Burning Glory, the Queen's MG, Justin Queso, and Eccleton in third. Don't forget, you get the written version of this Key Races and Bets podcast, which is the aptly named Key Races and Bets blog, and it's totally free at amwager.com. Click on How to Bet and All Stars blog. While you're there, look around. If you're not a member, sign up. It's free. It's easy to use. It's legal for residents of most states. And it's a great betting site for horse racing. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.